I'm just about to go to work for a performance, and so while I'm in that mindset of orchestral playing, and if I do say so myself, looking dapper in my concert clothes, I thought we'd talk orchestra etiquette. These are the things that maybe they don't teach you in school, but that you really need to know if you're going to play in an orchestra. Because if you get a gig and you don't follow these tips, there's a chance that that ensemble will not call you back to play with them again. So let me save you some headaches with a few quick tips to help you keep your reputation intact. Tip number 1, the neutral zone. Aromas are unwelcome in the orchestra. Many ensembles even have this in their contract that you sign in order to start working with them. And if you think about it, it really does make sense. You're in close proximity to people on stage where everyone has to be laser focused. And if you douse yourself in Dracar Noir before you get out there, it can range from a bit distracting to outright physically irritating for your colleagues. Perfumes, colognes, anything scented is a no-no. Unlike at a social event where maybe you can move a few feet away if there's an overpowering aroma near you, people are in fixed positions in an orchestra, so there's really nothing that they can do. It's critical to be considerate of that. You can put on whatever you want when you're home alone on vacation. On the other hand, though, please do shower and brush your teeth regularly, even if you're not going to play in an orchestra. Tip number 2, it's not concerto time. There are 2 things that are acceptable to play on stage: slow, non-flashy warm-ups, and anything from the repertoire for that concert cycle. You should consider anything else forbidden, especially if it's super showy. No concerti, no Bach suites, etc. I've heard stories about people who actually lost their subbing opportunities with an orchestra because of this kind of thing. Stick with the task at hand and take care of the other repertoire at home. Tip number 3, don't hog the stand. If you have a stand partner, be considerate to them. Make sure that both parties can see the music. That is to say, don't move the stand to be just right in front of you, don't twist it around too much, that kind of thing. I've done it unwittingly in the past, and when I got called on it by my stand partner, I learned to be much more vigilant about making sure that the stand is distributed equitably. If you mark something in or turn a page and that makes the stand pivot or whatever, gently swing it back towards your stand partner as a gesture of goodwill. They will appreciate it. Number 4, keep it slow. You're moving around in spaces that are often somewhat cramped, and with people sometimes carrying instruments that are worth unbelievable amounts of money. Move slowly and always maintain great situational awareness. Your steps should be deliberate, and you should always keep your eyes peeled in all directions to make sure that you're not going to run into anybody. If you don't do this, it can end very, very badly. While you should keep these kinds of movements slow, one thing that you should do very fast is like this video, sub to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications if you're enjoying the content. And if you're somebody who likes to run backstage and you feel called out, go ahead and hit the dislike button. Number 5, on the mark. Mark your music diligently, but don't clutter it. When you're marking it, make sure that you're writing neatly and clearly, and that it'll make sense to both yourself and your stand partner. If you're writing in fingerings, make sure that they're in the right place. That is, if you're sitting on the outside, they go on top of the notes, and if you're sitting on the inside, they go underneath. Be careful if you want to erase markings too. Make sure that the marking isn't from your stand partner and that they don't need it in there before you take it out. If you're putting something in, do so lightly so that the library has an easier time getting it out after the concert cycle is over. And regardless of what you're marking, don't forget a pencil. Number 6, be prepared. This might not sound like an etiquette thing, but in a way it is. Because if you haven't prepared your part well, then you may contribute to the fact that people in the group who have prepared their parts well will now have to spend extra time rehearsing things that shouldn't have needed it. If everyone is fully prepared, then the rehearsal can be focused on things that bring the orchestra together in a collective, unified musical direction, instead of picking on things that could have been taken care of at home. Help respect your colleagues' time by being ready on day 1 of rehearsals. Number 7, careful what you say. This is pretty simple, and it's applicable to life in general, not just orchestra. But the music world is very, very small. So don't go around saying anything inflammatory about people or anything like that. It really could come back to bite you later on, but more importantly, it's just not a kind thing to do. Number 8, tune quietly. Everyone needs to make sure that they tune up well at the start of a rehearsal, not just you. So don't wail on your strings as you adjust them. It can really distract your colleagues when they're trying to get their own instrument ready to go. If you're worried about hearing yourself, at least on cello, just gently press your ear to one of the pegs and let the sound be piped directly into your head. Number 9, keep your feet chill. Be careful with foot tapping. This can be very distracting to your colleagues, and most of the time it's seen as bad form. It may be okay to do it very gently, very occasionally, in very specific passages, but that's dependent on what your colleagues are okay with. As a general rule, it's best to avoid it and keep your feet still. Your pulse should generally be internal, not external, and for help you can use sounds around you as well as, of course, the direction from the conductor. Number 10. Water only. Hydration is important. There's a subreddit with over 1 million members dedicated to just that. Because it's so important, you'll most likely be permitted to have water on stage, as long as it has a top that can be sealed. Still important to check, but usually allowed. Anything else, though, will not fly, so no juice, soda, or snacky snacks on stage. Any of that can be a special treat for after you get home. This is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the many things that you need to keep in mind to help you have a successful career in orchestral playing. And do you have any tips that came to mind that I left out? Let me know in the comments below. Many of the etiquette breaches that could happen by not following these rules are not things that personally bother me, but I have had these ideas drilled into my head for many years, so it was important for me to cover this. Because even if I'm not bothered, some of your colleagues might be. I hope you've enjoyed this, and that this helps you to go into all of your future orchestral engagements as a paragon of good comportment. And if you're not planning to do any orchestral playing, I hope you at least found this to be an interesting and illuminating glimpse into the finer points of the etiquette of this world. And lastly, before I head out, I just want to talk briefly about my course, which is for adults who don't play cello yet but who want to. It gives you all of the info that you need to get started, even if you've never played an instrument before, and even if you don't know how to read music. It's available either by visiting the address shown on screen, or by clicking the link in the description. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video, but if you're still hungry for more cello and music-related content, I cordially invite you to check out these videos here. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time.